It's your boy, Jason, Muncie, Indiana, Dewey's. Now, I want to cover this topic about, pro wrestling. Now, if I had of, been, in some alternate timeline where the World Wrestling Federation was never the World Wrestling Entertainment, I would have wanted to become a WWF superstar. I would have gone through college and I would have, gone through sports, played some sports, and well, let's just say I would have been a WWF champion and taken on newcomers, sticking around, taking on newcomers to the WWF that come to the WWF to become champion. And basically finding a way to defend my WWF championship. But no, the Animal Conservation Association, or Conservation Services, or ACS, stole the WWF initials from Vince McMahon. And I'm just saying, I would have to go all over the world touring and just paying for flight tickets, the meal plan, everything. I would have to, rely heavily on whatever money I make. I put some money away in my account, and I spend the rest on traveling expenses, along with hotel expenses, and I would have to pay for the eating of the food and the food itself. I would have to pay for all of that while still saving up money up until I'd have to reach the main event picture in the WWF. But in this timeline, no, you cannot be a WWF champion. You have to become WWE champion. That's bullshit. The whole get the F out bullshit in wrestling was just blatantly disrespectful to people who grew up with the WWF as a wrestling product. I wouldn't mind being a pro wrestler if the same shit that was going on back in the 80s and back in the 90s was continuing on. We would have had the longest ever Attitude Era. The Attitude Era would have 3, maybe 4 decades of dominance. And then the get the F out bullshit would have happened in I'm gonna say, if I were to have a kid with a woman, my kid's lifetime, or my grandkid's lifetime would justify the get the F out bullshit that happened during my lifetime to happen a generation later. Like, what the fuck? I mean, I want the World Wrestling Federation to come back. It's bullshit the way they ruin pro wrestling. The Animal Conservation Society, or ACS, destroyed pro wrestling. I mean, I want to be partaking in some classic pro wrestling business and joining in the World Wrestling Federation, but no. The Animal Conservation Society did not want Vince McMahon's company to be known as the WWF. I mean, how are you going to go and just ruin something that I practically almost grew up my entire youth with? Ruining something that almost grew up throughout our entire youth with as violent entertainment on TV. We would have had marvelous WWF video games, but no, we have a lot of shit going on. Oh, well, you can't go by the WWF because we're going by the WWF. No. To the Animal Conservation Society, you ruined everything. You ruined a integral, important part of every Gen Xer, every boomer, every millennial's childhood. These damn alphas and damn zoomers, they don't know what the fuck the World Wrestling Federation is because of y'all. Like, how are you gonna go and just say, oh well, we gotta take down the World Wrestling Federation to make ourselves the new WWF? How are you gonna do that? Hey, Peter Scully. How you doing? Back to the topic on hand. I want the World Wrestling Federation to come back.
I'm gonna start popping some kneecaps.
And ACS, you guys are bastards. Worthless fuckwit bastards. You ruined an important piece, one of the important pieces of my childhood. I want the World Wrestling Federation to come back. I'm sick and tired and fed up with this bullshit. Fed up with this bullshit. I want things to go I am sick and tired of the World Wrestling Federation not coming back. The World Wrestling Entertainment is just a sucky product. Just saying.